Epilogue. His arms aching, Kittig lowered the chisel and surveyed his final work. Yes, it was good enough. The letters gleamed in the quartzite, catching the low-angled light of the early morning sun. They were perfect, each shape clear, glass-edged, defined by the sparkling mineral. Yet despite the simple blocky shapes imposed on him by the necessity of keeping the message clear, they were somehow also infinitely complex. Individual crystals were like stars, forming and reforming geometric patterns as Kittig moved his head from side to side. He had often wondered which one of the messages they would read, or which ones, if Sam was right. But lately he had come to realize that it didn't matter. They were only looking for the message, the crude words, the subtle differences of texture in the stone, the fine variations in the way it cleaved to the different chisels he had used, the different effects obtained by striking the stone in different ways. All these would be lost on them. It didn't matter. Kittig knew the truth. He looked up at the time tree, towering over the block of quartzite. Most of his later messages had been inspired by the tree, by the flowing colours of its branches, by the tiny glittering clusters of its seeds. Lately, it had become the base of his operations. He had ventured out onto the plain less and less, remaining here by the lake shore, where the tree had appeared, as the doctor had promised it would, a few days after the TARDIS had left. "Take care of it," he said, "but don't let it outlive you. It's too dangerous." Kittig had promised that he wouldn't fail the doctor, that he would ensure the time tree died, and now he knew the time had come to redeem that promise. He could feel the cancerous mass inside him, growing, pressing on his heart. He could feel the blood leaking from his veins, oozing through the spaces between organs. And too often now he felt the deep, hard, idiot bite of pain. He walked up to the tree. It was huge now, and crowned with feathery orange leaves. The light from its branches was visible even in the day, and at night it blazed like a beacon, keeping all but the bravest animals at bay. He reached up to the lowest branch. The seeds had been building up for decades now, a dark encrustation covered with a poisonous slime that kept the birds and insects at bay. Kittig gripped them firmly and pulled. The sky changed to night. Kittig opened his night eyes, saw a pine forest in faint moonlight, a huge shaggy beast watching him with glowing, terrified eyes. It roared at him. Birds clattered out of the trees. Kittig reached up and scraped away more seeds. Further back, more light, low, heavy clouds, a barren plain. More seeds, and he was under water in darkness, his body shouting with pain at the sudden pressure of the ocean above him. He scrabbled at the branch, and the pressure was gone, replaced by a clear blue sky, sand, and a sail-backed reptile about half his size, scuttling away with a hissing sound. He rested for a while, enjoying the silence, the clear, dry air. Back again, barren land, an ashy taste in the air. He took a deep breath, knowing that the air was going to be unbreathable soon. The next 2 moves took him under water, then to a lake shore. The lake was scummy with life and bubbled. The ground trembled constantly. The time tree was changing, Kittig noticed. The light in its branches had dimmed, concentrated itself in knots around the seeds he was pulling away. He saw the exposed roots beneath his hooves, tendrils of light. No time for curiosity now. He scraped more seeds off, felt heat on his skin. His lungs were bursting for air. Now, he thought. And this is for you, Doctor, for all that you gave me, and for all that you took away. He pulled away the last of the seeds on the branch he had chosen, and the sky blazed with light. Just for an instant, the bulk of the time tree protected him from the direct light of the newborn sun, and Kittig could see the vast plain of glowing rock and dust that was slowly making Earth and the other worlds of the solar system. Pain blossomed as the burning, dying tree drifted away and the raw sunlight hit him. I wish I could make worlds, thought Kittig. I would make each one a new shape, a new beauty, a new chemistry and colour. Endless variation. The alien figure on the low bed was asleep. The skin was softly lit by the TARDIS nightlights, but the eyes seemed welded shut. Recuperation, he had called it. The doctor had been asleep for nearly 12 hours. Sam watched the sleeping figure for a long time, wondering how she could tell him. Finally she spoke. "I know you wouldn't forgive me if I told you. I don't expect it. And I know you're right not to forgive me. I could have shouted a warning. I could have fired in front of him. But I want you to understand. We've both got to live here, so it really makes a difference what I do, what you think about it, whether we can forgive each other. I need to know. I need to know if it was possible to have acted in a different way. The way you would have acted. That's the way I want to act. Doctor, can you understand me? Are you still asleep?" The figure on the bed didn't move, barely even seemed to breathe. Sam turned and silently walked away, back to her own room, and the guilt and the bad dreams. Perhaps she would tell him about it in the morning.